Today in Camille's Corner, new developments in the Ahmaud Arbery case. I am joined by Ben Crump. He represents the family of Ahmaud Arbery. Also from Trayvon to Ahmaud, we discuss the progress we've made, but the fight yet to come. This is Camille's Corner. Come on in. Hi guys, I'm Camille. Welcome to Camille's Corner. I want to get right to my guest today. I am here with Ben Crump, civil rights attorney. He is the attorney that's represented several men and women who have been killed by police officers, shot and killed by police officers. And now he's representing the family of Ahmaud Arbery. And he was just telling me he has some news about the FBI possibly being involved in the case.
Yes, Camille, thank you so much for covering this important matter. And I hope you also will cover Breonna Taylor's case because we need to continue to say her name. But we're going to meet with the FBI, who is considering opening an investigation as a hate crime, the death of Ahmaud Arbery by everybody involved, the McMichaels, the videographer, everybody who objective evidence shows was part of this organized effort to confront and capture this young black man who was simply jogging through the neighborhood, we believe, based on the color of his skin.
So you do think it's a hate crime?
They seem to premise this on this video of him going into a home under construction as to say he was doing something nefarious, he was committing some kind of crime. When you look at all the videos, you see that there were several people. A lot of white people were going in the home, and nobody got in a pickup truck and chased them with a .357 Magnum and a shotgun and ended up killing them in broad daylight. It was only Ahmaud, and we absolutely believe it was because of the color of his skin.
How confident are you of a conviction?
Well, anytime a person of color is killed by a white person in America, there's always a question of whether they will get equal justice under the law. But I am cautiously optimistic based on the last 3 high-profile cases that I've been involved in the representation that we will get a conviction. When you look at Corey Jones' case in Palm Beach, the church drummer who was on the side of the road at 3 in the morning, undercover police officer came, never identified himself and killed Corey, but by the grace of God, Corey was on the phone with the tow truck company and it was recording, and an all-white jury in Palm Beach County convicted that police officer, which represented the first time in 35 years that a police officer had been convicted of killing a black person in the state of Florida. And we all know about Amber Geiger, the white police woman who allegedly went in the wrong apartment and killed Botham Jean, where her self-defense argument was not accepted by the jury. She was convicted. Unfortunately, only sentenced her to 10 years. But it's just, we see in recent cases, juries have been doing what they are supposed to do and follow the evidence.
Right. Let me ask you, you became to the national scene with the Trayvon Martin case. There are a lot of similarities that I see in Trayvon's case and Ahmaud's case. Can you tell us about that?
Oh, it's eerily similar. The fact that both of them were killed in the month of February. Trayvon, February 26, 2012. Ahmaud, February 23rd, 2020. The fact that if Trayvon and Ahmaud were living today, they both would be 26 years old.
Wow.
The fact that, their killers got both cases, got to go home and sleep in the bed that night after they killed them. The fact that their killers both had guns and both of them were unarmed, but yet they said it was self-defense when they killed Trayvon in Sanford, Florida, and killed Ahmaud in Brunswick, Georgia. The fact that you have 911 tapes that are just hard and difficult and hard to listen to in Trayvon's case and Ahmaud's case. The fact that both Trayvon's killer had quasi-law enforcement connections. He was the self-appointed neighborhood watch volunteer, and we must remember that his father was a magistrate judge. And then you think about Ahmaud's killer had quasi-law enforcement connections. Gregory McMichael was a former police officer, and he was a detective for the district attorney's office for 30 years. And so you have all these similarities. Took weeks in Trayvon with great public outcry to get an arrest, took weeks with Ahmaud, great public outcry to get an arrest. And finally, you had the state police and Trayvon's case, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement had to get involved for there to be an arrest. In Georgia, the state police, Georgia Bureau of Investigations had to get involved for there to be an arrest. And the great distinction in Trayvon, we had objective evidence of a pursuit, but it was only audio. We could only hear it. We heard Trayvon run for his life. We heard the shot that we now know went through that hood and went into his heart. And in Ahmaud's case, we get to see the pursuit. We get to see it visually with our own eyes, and we watch him run for over 4 minutes through that neighborhood for his life, and then we see him being shot horrifically, being lynched as his father.
I know you're short on time, and do want to get to Breonna's case. How easy do you think it would be to get even arrests in that case? We're not even talking about convictions yet, just an arrest.
Well, I believe if we can continue to use our voice and say her name. If you ran for Ahmaud, you got to stand with Bree, because Black women's lives matter too. And we have to really amplify her name and make sure they cannot sweep it under the rug, because these facts are horrific. This innocent Black woman being executed in the sanctity of her own home.
Right. You mentioned, the hashtag. What can the ordinary citizen sitting on their couch do besides go on social media and put hashtags?
In Breonna's case, you need to call the mayor of Louisville, Kentucky, and tell him that the police chief needs to fire those officers, and the DA needs to charge them, hold them accountable for the murder of Breonna Taylor. And if the police chief doesn't do his job, then Mr. Mayor, you need to get rid of him for not doing his job. Because if you don't do your job, then we're going to terminate you at election time. And it got to be very clear and unambiguous that we will hold people accountable for the death of our sister.
I want to end with this. In your book, Open Season, Legalized Genocide of Colored People, you have a quote that says, "The Constitution belongs to everyone at every level." Do you still think that's true? And what kind of progress have we made from Trayvon to Ahmaud and Breonna?
Absolutely, I believe that's true. As Thurgood Marshall, my personal hero, said, when they wrote the Constitution, they didn't have us in mind, but we're going to make it ours anyway, because we are American citizens. And I think we've made great progress since the tragic killing of Trayvon Martin up into Amaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor, but we still have a long way to go. With those recent victories that I just discussed, shows you how far we have come, because before Trayvon, nobody even talked about holding white people accountable when they kill Black people as a part of the national conversation in America.
Attorney Crump, I appreciate your time. Let's recap what we learned at the beginning of the show, that the FBI is looking into possible hate crime charges in Ahmaud's case. So we're going to keep up with the latest on that. So thank you so much, Attorney Crump. We appreciate you, and we want to talk to you again after you learn more about what's going on with the hate crime charges. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Camille.
All right, thank you. Thank you for joining us on Camille's Corner. Till next time.